Imagine a world where survival depends not on strength, not on technology, but on something far more terrifying: silence. In the world of A Quiet Place and its sequel, A Quiet Place Part 2, noise is death. The slightest sound can summon monsters that hunt using hypersensitive hearing, turning the entire human race into prey. And in this story, survival is not about fighting loudly, it is about living quietly. The movie begins with one of the most intense and terrifying prologue sequences in modern horror cinema. We are transported back to day one of the alien invasion in Millbrook. Life starts normally. Children are playing baseball. Parents are watching their kids. Among them are the Abbott family, Evelyn and Lee Abbott, played by Emily Blunt and John Krasinski. Their children are Marcus, Noah Jupe, and Regan, Millicent Simmons. But something strange appears in the sky. A meteor-like object crashes, then another. Then chaos explodes across the town as monstrous creatures descend upon humanity. The terrifying truth is revealed almost instantly. These creatures are blind, but they hunt using sound. And once they hear you, there is no escape. People scream, cars crash, buildings burn. The world collapses in minutes. The panic feels raw and realistic. A civilization destroyed not by war, but by sensory-hunting predators. The prologue ends with pure horror and sets the emotional tone for the entire film. The story jumps forward. It is now day 474 after the invasion. The events of A Quiet Place have already changed the family forever. Lee Abbott is dead. His sacrifice protected his children. Now Evelyn must survive alone. The family leaves their destroyed farm. They carry 3 children: Marcus, frightened and emotionally fragile; Regan, deaf but highly intelligent; newborn baby, whose natural crying is a constant threat, because in this world, a baby's cry is basically a death sentence. To prevent accidental noise, the baby is connected to an oxygen device that suppresses crying sounds. It is survival science turned into desperate motherhood engineering. During their journey, the Abbotts encounter Emmett. Emmett is played by Cillian Murphy. They first met him during the day 1 baseball game, but now he is completely different. The apocalypse destroyed him emotionally. His family is dead. His hope is gone. He lives inside an abandoned steel mill, hiding from both monsters and other humans. Emmett believes humanity itself is no longer worth saving. He says something chilling after watching the family escape another disaster. The people who remain are not necessarily the people worth protecting. It is a reflection of survival trauma. Regan becomes the emotional and intellectual heart of the story. She remembers something her father taught her. Her hearing aid can create feedback noise when placed near a microphone or speaker. When amplified, the high-frequency signal causes the creatures to convulse in pain. It is humanity's first real weapon. But there's a problem. The signal is temporary, and it also reveals the survivor's location. So survival becomes a race against time. Shoot the monster before it recovers. While exploring, Regan discovers a repeating radio broadcast. The song is Beyond the Sea. It plays again, and again, and again. The message suggests something important. There may be other survivors. Somewhere. Regan believes someone is trying to communicate. She becomes convinced that a survivor community exists on an island. The film then divides into 3 simultaneous survival stories. 1. Regan and Emmett's journey. Regan secretly leaves to find the radio tower broadcasting the signal. Emmett initially follows reluctantly. Their mission: reach the broadcasting source, amplify the hearing aid feedback, and turn sound itself into a weapon for humanity. Their journey introduces new dangers, not only monsters, but also hostile human survivors. 2. Evelyn's survival mission. Evelyn must search for medical supplies and oxygen tanks for the baby. She leaves Marcus alone. The tension is unbearable because Marcus is injured and terrified and responsible for protecting the baby. 3. Marcus and the baby. Pure survival horror. This is one of the film's most terrifying sequences. Marcus must stay completely silent. He is afraid, injured, and overwhelmed. The baby is crying. He must survive while protecting it. The scene creates psychological horror rather than monster action.
Regan and Emmett eventually reach an island community. The island is protected because the monsters cannot swim. For a moment, it feels like paradise. People live together. Music exists. Normal life seems possible again. But horror returns. One monster somehow arrives by boat. The illusion of safety is destroyed. Chaos erupts. People die. Hope is shattered. The film reinforces a terrifying message. There is no permanent safety in this world. The final battle happens through parallel storytelling. Marcus must defend the baby using the sound device. Regan reaches a radio station. She broadcasts the high-frequency feedback signal. The story cuts between two battles. Regan fighting to transmit the weaponized sound, Marcus struggling to survive and protect the baby. The suspense is extreme. Every second matters. The ending of A Quiet Place Part 2 focuses on cautious hope rather than absolute victory. In the final confrontation, Regan successfully broadcasts the high-frequency feedback signal from her hearing aid through a radio station, creating a sonic weapon that can potentially be used by other survivors across different regions. At the same time, Marcus manages to protect the newborn baby and kills one of the creatures using the sound-based defense system. The ending suggests that humanity has finally found a method to fight back, but the war against the monsters is far from over. The story does not completely resolve the global invasion, leaving room for future continuation of the franchise that began with A Quiet Place. The final scenes emphasize the transformation of the younger generation into survival leaders, especially the character arcs of Regan and Marcus, symbolizing hope for humanity's future. Emotionally, the conclusion highlights the evolution of the family members, rather than delivering a traditional horror victory. The performances of Emily Blunt and Millicent Simmons reinforce the theme that survival in this world is built on resilience, intelligence, and emotional courage, rather than physical strength. Director and writer John Krasinski closes the film on a hopeful but uncertain note, reminding the audience that silence is still both humanity's greatest enemy and its most powerful weapon.